Hello, and welcome to Art on the Farm with Mia Sage and Jan, brought to you by the Monroe Area Council for the Arts. Today, we are going to be making okra ornaments, a snowman. Now, if you saw the Santa Claus okra ornaments, I talked just a little bit about ornaments that are made out of okra. This is something that you're going to have to plan for before you actually do the project, because most people are going to be wanting to make snowmen around Christmas time or January, February. But you are going to be growing your snowman okra in late spring, early summer, into the fall if you're in East Tennessee. So be sure to look and talk to growers in your area. Make sure that you are prepping enough to have your okra ready. Now, if you know somebody that grows okra in their garden or a farmer, then be sure to ask them to some of the pieces that grow a little faster than they're picked and they get a little bit bigger. Just ask them to leave that on the stalk near the end of the season. You can cut down the entire okra stalk with these on it and hang it in any kind of dry place that's out of the weather. Really great places, a garage, and you can let that dry up. When it dries, it's going to be hard to the touch, okay? Makes a good rattle too. Okay. It's going to be hard to the touch. Don't be doing this number because you will actually break it. And then it's going to look, if you'll notice, that looks a lot like the wood that's on either side of me. So that should be the general look. If there's a little bit of a black dot around it, don't go, oh my gosh, and throw it away. It's going to be okay. But now, if it's covered in black, then you had a little too much moisture around it. Something didn't quite go right. Maybe it was too moist when it was put up. I like to let mine go to the end of the season because we do grow okra. So I like to go all the way to the end of the season. If it's a good dry season, I wait for a very long time before I cut down those stalks. But I do want to get it before a rough rain. As long as they're starting to dry real good, and go and put those in a garage or the top of a barn, whatever you have. Okay. Now, to prep this, what we have done is Jan and I have taken white acrylic craft paint. White acrylic craft paint. And we went on and painted all of it except the top. This top is going to be painted black anyway, so it didn't matter. You want to make sure you use acrylic and not tempera. Acrylic is more permanent and acrylic will stay good. It's not going to flake off on your hands. Temporary, it's going to come off on your hands. It's going to form like a little dust. I've had many a sad person who did not know that you shouldn't use tempera when you're doing a project like this, and they've been so disappointed because every time they touch their project, a little bit of dust comes off onto their hands, and it just doesn't stay well. It flakes off really easy, so we want to stay away from that. Now, we are going to be, one other thing. So glad I remembered. One other thing, and that is, after they are dry, you want to cut it off of the stalk, and then you want to I had my mother, to take a very large sewing needle, a really big eye on the sewing needle, and she used fishing line, and she just poked a hole straight through it, and then tied the fishing line just for me, and I'm ready to go. So this is not a one-person project most of the time, unless I have some adult crafters who are interested in doing something fun with their okra ornaments. This is a very fun family project, but it's not something that our young artists need to be doing by themselves. So keep that in mind. All right, so we have our white acrylic base, and we have our tip top here open. If you went on and painted the whole thing, that's perfectly fine. You're advanced. You're better off than what I did. I got lazy and I just left it because I knew it was going to be black anyway and it wasn't going to matter. So we're going to go through here. We're going to go on and paint his top hat black. This is the part that just kind of naturally has a nice line to it because it's the part where he connects to the stalk of the okra plant anyway. I am all about an art project making me look more skilled than I am. And these okra projects most definitely do that. They are so simple and fun. Once you get past the prep stage, of course, they're so simple and fun. And they make it look like you know what you're doing, which is always nice. Okay, so I have that here. Now you have several options when it comes to doing his face. What I like to do is I like to really think it out and plan it out. You know you're going to have 2 eyes and a smile, okay? But you also know that you're probably going to do something with buttons. So as I'm looking at the beautiful ridges that go down the okra plant, I'm looking for a spot that may have some larger ridges because I'm looking for a nice spot to put some buttons or gemstones. A spot that I'm really going to feel good about. Man, it's a lot harder than I thought on this fella. Okay, I found a spot that I think is going to work pretty well for what I want to accomplish here. I like that this part of the okra plant has a really nice wide ridge. You can see I can stick my finger almost in that ridge. So then I'm going to plan my face up from that. I'm going to have my face right here. I'm going to split it between the line here. So I'm going to go one side for a dot and one side for a dot. A great way to do this is to take the back end, the handle end of your brush. Lightly dip that into some paint. Put your dot. Put your dot. Okay? And because I'm feeling a little bit lazy tonight, I'm going to go the easy route. I'm going to do that same thing for his smile. Your hardest part's going to be your ridge. Don't be hard on yourself. It's going to be all right. And I can't tell you it's exactly this many dots or that many dots because that's going to depend on your space. It's going to depend on your ridges. It's going to depend on your space. Be kind to yourself. This is all for fun. Often I find that when my adult and kid students work on this, that their first one, they're getting the hang of it. And then after that, things just keep getting better and better. So don't worry. It's not a big deal. It's going to be okay. All right. Now, there are gemstones. I ordered these online. And they came in different sizes, and they come on a little strip of plastic sticker, if you will. You can separate those out to give a really nice look. I'm going to leave mine right on their strip and just see what it looks like. If I don't like it, I can change it. I'm going to go down from his face. And I'm going to add some buttons here. If you have little extra pieces of fabric, oh, that's going to lay right very nicely. Very nicely. If it doesn't lay nicely, a little bit of hot glue works wonders. I prefer the Gorilla Glue hot glue. It really is worth the little bit of extra money. I didn't think it would be, but it is. Okay. And that's something that our younger artists are going to want to use with the low heat setting, or you can do it on a higher heat setting with an adult. Either way, having an adult around really helps. I would have an adult around when using hot glue. Sometimes they want to do it for them. It makes them feel better, so just let them do it for you. Okay. And then right up here If you have little extra pieces of fabric, that works great. If you don't have little extra pieces of fabric, string's fine. String's perfectly fine. Cut some string in a color that you like. This one's blue. Here. Looking for something I thought I had. You just tie that little scarf right on that fella. You got a really nice little piece there. Now, if you would like to take some acrylic paint and do a little nose, I'm going to show you that because that's using resources that you just might have. My goodness, that thing is hard to get off. Let's see. Oh, not going to happen for me. I'm going to have to go a long slower out there. Let's see here. There it comes. Okay. So I'm going to go right here and I'm thinking just a little line to the side is all that's really needed here. Yeah. You want it to kind of have a bit of a tip. Be careful. Don't get too carried away. Okay. So you're thinking in your head triangle, but you're really not making a full triangle because even if you use a small brush, the brush itself is going to do a lot of your work. And you're just going to pull it out with the tip. Okay. So this is the easiest, most low maintenance way to do your nose. If you want to get fancy, some of my people that did your fabric strip because you wanted to be fancy. If you want to get fancy, you can go online and particularly on Amazon and look up small snowman craft nose. And you will find what looks just like a little triangle, and it has a little stick end to the back. And it will give you a little 3D nose. You just cram it right in there like a thumbtack would. But it's plastic, and then it sticks out. So, for my fancy people, that is kind of fun. I've used that before too. But this is by far the more simple way to go. Well, I most certainly hope that you enjoyed this lesson from Art on the Farm with Mia Sage and Jan. I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much to the Monroe Area Council for the Arts for this opportunity. See you next time.